promised womb, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
Good evening, everyone. So my name is George. Thanks for having me tonight. By the way, just a quick shout out to my beloved wife, Mano. She's right there. That's my baby boo. Say hi to her. Hey. So part of the reason why I'm so excited, if you can't tell by my face, is because, like I mentioned earlier, me and Mano, we actually graduated from here. We're a CSULB alumni. Go 49ers, even though I've never been to a single sports game in here before. And me and Mano, we graduated from nursing. We got our bachelor's back in 2012. And go pre-nursing students out here. And also after we graduated, I started working as nurses. And then back in 2015, I came back here again, Cal State Long Beach, to get my master's degree as a nurse practitioner. I actually just graduated in December 2017. So praise God, man. God is good. Man. God is good. Me and Mary, we've been married for since January 2016. Don't forget your future wedding anniversary. January 2016, and I know we look young if you look at Marino, but she's actually 44 years old. Minus 20 or 15 or so. I'll let you do the math. Before we got married, we've been together for about 9 years, almost 10 years. So I've been girlfriend, boyfriend for that amount of time. We go all the way back to high school. So we are high school sweethearts, yes. And so anyways, enough about us. So tonight's topic, how to date faithfully. So interesting. First off, Newman Club, why are we talking about this topic? Is there something wrong about the way we're currently going about dating in this society? What do you guys think? Usually if you want to evaluate something, if it's good or not, you want to look at its results, if it's bearing fruits or not. So if it's bearing some sweet mangoes or some rotten tomatoes. So let me give you guys some statistics, okay? About 50% of married couples here in America get a divorce. Okay, that's pretty significant. That means that if any of you guys get married, there's a 50-50 chance that you guys can get a divorce. That's crazy. Oh, what's wrong with a divorce? Well, obviously it causes pain, sufferings to both parties, husband and wife, but not only to them, but also the people around them, their families, their friends, but most especially to their kids. Perhaps some of you guys have a first-hand experience of this, right? And so that leaves about 50% of kids in America having to be raised without either a father or a mother. And every child has the right to be raised by both parents. Amen? Amen. Amen, right? And as one of the greatest missionary in the past century tells us, you might have heard of him, his name is Pope St. John Paul II, aka JP2, he says that the most basic unit of society is the family. And if you want to change the world for the better, or do the opposite, destroy the world, then you start with the family. And I know being Newman Club, I know that you guys want to change the world for the better, hopefully. I hope that's what you guys want. And how do we do that? By starting to build intact families and keeping families together. Okay, and where do families come from? Well, it comes from a man and a woman dating. So yes, tonight's topic, how to date faithfully. Not only is it really interesting, but it's also very important. The world lies in your hands, Human Club. Listen well, okay? Okay, so dating, aka courtship. What's the difference? You guys know what the difference is, dating versus courtship? Let me help you guys out. So dating basically is they're doing it for the recreation purpose, or just enjoying it, socially hanging out, you know, for the enjoyment of the process. Meanwhile, courtship is if there's anything I want you guys to remember tonight, is this right here. The definition of courtship is the pursuing of an intimate friendship to see if marriage would be desirable. Okay? So again, courtship is the pursuing of an intimate friendship to see if marriage would be desirable. Let's talk about goals real quick. If you guys have ever been to a job interview, one of the common questions is, what are your goals, right? What is your 5-year goal, short-term goal, long-term goal? Why do they ask those questions? It's because goals can have a huge influence in our lives, the way we behave, right? So let's say if your goal is to lose weight, get a six-pack. What do? You go to the gym, lift some weights, go on a keto diet, no white rice, no soda, right? Or if you're being college students, or if your goal is, of course, to graduate, get a degree, well, then you take the specific steps, take specific classes to achieve that goal. Same for me. About 10 years ago, my goal was to get into the nursing program here at Cal State Long Beach, because I know Long Beach State is a pretty good school, and of course I wanted to be with Marino. That's why I wanted to go here too. And I knew it was hard. It was going to be competitive. It was a competitive program. It's hard to get into. And so how did that affect the way I behaved? Well, I was focused. Every single day I had my thoughts. Gotta get my A. Gotta get my A. All in my science classes, get that A all day, every day. Got my A. Gotta get my A. Because I could not risk it not to get into the nursing program. It got so competitive. My wife, Marino, she told me one day, because she was trying to get into the same program as well, she told me, George, if you take my spot in the nursing program, I'll go kill you. Because back then I was going to transfer from a JC, from a community college, with Marino was already going to Cal State Long Beach, and the spots were limited, so it's competitive. So goals have a huge influence in our lives. Now, what is the goal of courtship? What do you guys think? Sisters, based on the definition of courtship I gave you guys, what do you guys think is the goal of courtship? Anyone?
To make friends.
Getting closer.
Meet somebody.
Okay, getting closer. I'll help you out. Again, the definition of a courtship is the pursuing of an intimate friendship to see if marriage would be desirable. Okay, so the purpose of courtship is marriage. Okay, that's the purpose. That's the goal. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, what is the goal of marriage? What is the ultimate goal of marriage? Incidentally, also the goal of our lives. Brothers, can any brother answer this question? Any brother answer this question gets plus points in the ladies' arts. Let's go, bros. Let's go. Come on.
To have a family?
Hey, okay, that's pretty good. Okay.
To help bring their spouse to heaven.
Amen, brother. There you go, man. There you go. All right. So the goal of marriage and the ultimate purpose of our lives is to get to heaven. Okay. So there you go. Keep your eyes on the prize. Okay. So with marriage and getting to heaven being the goal of courtship, courtship is not about finding, for the ladies, finding the cutest guy in the world. Tall, dark, handsome, they got blue eyes, hazel eyes, green eyes, pink eyes. I'm sorry, not pink eyes. That means somebody farted on their pillow. No, you don't want that. Or for the guys, it's not about, finding the sexiest, bodacious girl. Is that even a word, bodacious? Or, they're filled with personality, they're funny, they laugh at your jokes. It's not about that. Courtship is not also about finding the person who you have the ultimate compatibility with, or even the highest chemistry with marriage and getting to heaven in mind. And courtship certainly is not about finding the wealthiest person in the world. They don't have to own Newport Beach and live right next to Kobe Bryant. Although financial stability is a legit concern. Okay, with marriage and getting to heaven in mind, courtship is about virtues, okay? Just remember that. It's about virtues. St. Bonaventura says that the stairway by which we climb up into heaven is by virtue to virtue, okay? So the point of courtship is to find someone with sufficient virtue to have a common life with in marriage. Sufficient virtue to raise kids and to fulfill the duties of their state of life, okay? What are virtues? Virtues are a set of good habits. It's a sign of moral excellence. Some examples of virtues that you're looking for in another person is patience. Do they have patience or are they impatient? Charity. Are they generous or are they selfish? Humility. Are they humble or filled with pride? Meekness. Control of powerful emotions. Or do they get angry easily, just like that? Okay, chastity. The virtue applied to our sexuality, basically saving our virginity for marriage. Do they have faith, hope, love, wisdom? These are all signs of moral excellence that we're looking for in another person. Because you can court and marry, you know, the most beautiful guy, most beautiful girl, most handsome guy in the world. They got a six-pack, muscles, you know, you got great chemistry, compatibility, they're laughing at your jokes, they're rich as heck. But if they ain't got no virtues, you're gonna be miserable. You're gonna be miserable. And then 50% divorce rate, okay? And it's true for the opposite as well. You marry the ugliest person, it doesn't have to be the ugliest person in the world, or your chemistry's okay, compatibility's okay, they financially making it, but they're not rich, but they're filled with virtues. Oh, you're gonna be happy. You're gonna be happy. I mean, do you want to be miserable or happy? Just look at me, I'm married. Do I look miserable to you? I'm extremely happy. Okay, so courtship is about virtue. Saint Thomas Aquinas, you might have heard of him. He's like the smartest guy in Catholic history, if not the smartest guy. He says that the word honor is the praise or the intellectual recognition of someone's excellence. So honor is due to someone with excellence. Who is an example of someone with excellence? Donald Trump. Let me give you guys a better example. How about Mother Mary, the saints? They are filled with excellence, right? And so we give them honor. And so someone with excellence deserves honor. And according to St. Thomas Aquinas, virtues and honor, excellence, they're all consummate. So they're very closely tied in with each other. So somebody with virtues have excellence and deserves honor. And according to natural law, future fathers, future husbands here, one of your primary functions is to protect the excellence of your spouse to be, of your wives. Wife. Hopefully you only have one wife. And daughters, being the man of the household. Okay, so just reflect on this, brothers and sisters. If you have, for the ladies, you got a boyfriend right now, are they protecting your excellence, your virtues, your purity, your dignity, okay? For the brothers, you got a girlfriend right now, are you protecting the lady's excellence, okay? So just kind of reflect on that real quick, okay? So courtship is about virtues. Now we'll talk about the 4 stages of courtship. Mainly we're going to focus on the first 2 stages. And I'm going to give you guys my reference because I know college is all about that reference page, you know, 5-page reference page, right? And my reference mostly for tonight's talk is Father Chad Ripperger. Check him out. And his credentials is, well, he's an exorcist. So he knows what he's talking about when it comes to courting guidelines, okay? So the first stage, Father Chad Ripperger. I don't know where he's from, but yeah. But anyway, so first stage of courtship is the friendship stage. Okay, the friendship stage. You know, it seems in our society we're being pushed into these girlfriend-boyfriend type of relationships so fast. Even growing up as kids, I remember growing up as a young man, my dad and my mom would take me and my siblings to these Filipino parties. And if you've ever been to a Filipino party, it's filled with delicious food, right? Yeah, filled with delicious. We'll talk more later. We'll fill with delicious food. You got your chicken adobo, sweet spaghetti, lumpia. If they got cake, it has to be either ube or mango flavored. If it's not, it's not a Filipino party. Anyways, all our uncles and aunts are there, chit-chatting, talk. And one of the common questions they ask me is, George, you have a girlfriend yet? He's so cute. Do you have a girlfriend yet? You guys ever get that in family parties? Yeah? Not the so cute part. Right? Do you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend yet? And then hanging out at school, walking around, hanging out with the boys. What are the boys talking about? What's up, bro? Bro, what's up? Bro, what's up, bro? Do you have a boyfriend yet? I'm sorry, girlfriend. Do you have a girlfriend yet, bro? Right? And then, you know, what do they ask? Oh, did you guys hold hands yet? Did you guys kiss yet? Did you hit second base yet? I'm like, whoa, bro, calm down, man. I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't even play baseball, man. Oh, you mean to say you're still a virgin? Come on, man, what's wrong with you? I mean, what are you waiting for? You're already like in 2nd grade. Oh, man, no. And then going up, walking around, you know, middle school, high school, college. What do you hear the couples saying to each other, boyfriend, girlfriend, while they're holding hands, what do you hear them say to each other? Hey girl, I love you. I love you too. I love you more. I love you the most, right? And then you ask them, what does love mean? And they don't have a clue. Shoot, I didn't have a clue what love meant until I met Marino. Hey, you know. Brothers, what does love mean, brother? Can any brother answer this question? What does love mean? Okay, that's definitely part of it. Let me give you a St. Thomas Aquinas definition of love. St. Thomas Aquinas says that love is willing the good of the other. Okay, love is willing the good of the other. That means that if I tell Marino, hey girl, I love you. Okay, I love you. That doesn't mean that I'm saying that to Marino just because she makes me feel good about myself, because she gives me those warm, fuzzy feelings, because she compliments me every single day. George, you smell good today. You actually wore your deodorant? Good for you, husband. Thanks, wife. You make me feel good. I love you. No, love is not about feelings, okay? Love is willing the good of the other. That means that if I tell Marino, I love you, that means that I will her good. That means I am doing my best so that Marino can attain what is good for her. And what is good for Marino, and what is good for all of us, besides eating Korean barbecue. Heaven? Amen, brother. That's right. It's to get to heaven. It's to attain our life's goal, and that's to get to heaven. So again, going through middle school, high school, college, it's like we're being pushed into these boyfriend-girlfriend things so fast when there's no need to be in a rush. Remember, what is the goal of courtship? What is the goal of courtship, you guys? Marriage, right? Marriage. If you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend right now, what is the point of that? It's to marry them. Okay? It's to marry them. Don't ever court someone who you cannot see yourself marrying. Okay? And how will you find out if you can see yourself marrying this person or not? Well, you start at this stage, the friendship stage. Okay? You start by being friends. The primary function of this stage is to see if the other person you're interested in has enough virtues for you to be able to take it to the second stage, which is the actual courtship itself. The stage usually lasts at least 3 to 6 months. It's a good amount of time to get to know more about the other person. And in this stage, you get to know more about the other person, not in a one-on-one type of setting, okay, which is the two of you hanging out. No, you do that in a group setting, okay, just like the setting. This is a human club setting. This is a good setting to get to know more about people, make friends, see if they have virtues or not. Okay, so don't ever court someone who you cannot see yourself married. Okay, and in this stage there are no signs of affection. What are signs of affection? Acting affectionately. That means no holding hands, no putting your arms around the other person, no kissing. No making out in this stage, okay, human club? No, okay. Well, why not, George? Come on, man. Why not, George? Well, because the thing is, we're trying to find if the other person has virtue, right? Once you start acting affectionately, it can cloud the clarity of your judgment. Also, after the fall of Adam and Eve, there's this thing called concupiscence. There is a weakening of our will, and we can fall very easily due to one another because of impure thoughts, desires, actions. So hanging out, just the two of you, hanging out each other, just the two of you, can be a near occasion of sin. Why? Well, because obviously you're not going to hang out with the other person of the opposite sex if there is no attraction there. And if there is an attraction in the level of the flesh, then there is a danger of committing sins of the flesh. Mother Mary appeared to 3 shepherd children in Portugal, to Santa Lucia and Francisco, and she gave them a vision of hell. Okay, and Mother Mary told them, the 3 kids, she told them that the #1 reasons why souls go to hell are because of sins of the flesh. Okay, brothers and sisters, don't put yourself in that danger, especially in this stage. Remember, primary function of a brother is to protect the excellence of the lady. Okay, so don't put yourself in that danger. Start by being friends first, getting to know more about each other. You don't have to be boyfriend and girlfriend right away. Curtis Martin says that don't run after the person who you think you'll be marrying. Rather, run after the person, run after Christ first, and then look around you and see who's keeping up with you, and that might be your possible spouse. Okay, so there is no need to be in a rush, okay? First question you gotta ask when somebody's trying to court you, get to know you is this person gonna lead me closer to Christ? Okay? Holiness is beautiful, you guys. Holiness is attractive. Why do you guys think I'm so attracted to Marino? Or why is she so attracted to me? You think it's my nice thick eyebrows, my small cute ears, my 6 flabs, my good looks. It's probably my good looks, but no, it's because I'm praying the rosary. I'm trying to work on myself spiritually. You know, holiness is attractive, you guys. So don't be in a rush. You don't have to be boyfriend, girlfriend right away. Father Ed Broom, Oblate of the Virgin Mary, actually recommends not to get a girlfriend or a boyfriend until you get a master's degree. And until you got $15,000 to $20,000 in your piggy bank. Which I totally did not do because I have not met Father Ed Broom back then yet, but you have met me now, and I am giving you his recommendation. And so, but if you think about it, it totally makes sense, so his recommendation, because if the point of having a girlfriend, boyfriend is to marry them, you ain't got no master's or you ain't got no money in the bank, you know, you're not financially stable. You know, this is especially true for the brothers. If you're not ready, are you really ready to be married? You know, are you ready to have kids? Do you guys know how much a wedding reception is? If you
How much is it?
I won't go there. I'm still paying my loan. Okay, so it ain't cheap, man. Me and Marino, we're actually pregnant. Keep us in your prayers.
Congratulations!
Don't tell anyone, Migo. Okay. Yeah, so keep us in your prayers. And we went last week. We went to our first doctor's appointment, and right then and there, copay $50. I'm like, what? We do this every single time. It ain't cheap, man. So it makes sense, his recommendation that, you know, you gotta be financially stable. Ladies, don't court a boy, court a man who'll be able to fulfill his financial obligations to you as a future father, future husband. Okay, ladies, perhaps you have a boyfriend right now and you can't see himself ever being financially stable or being able to provide for you. You might have to postpone that relationship for now, or maybe move on. I'm not too sure, huh? Okay? So don't court a boy, court a man. So again, this stage is about finding if the other person has enough virtues. Okay, now, once you find out, oh, by the way, one common question in this stage. Okay, George, this person has virtues. But man, this person, she's just blonde. I mean, her hair is blonde, okay? Her hair, and I prefer brunettes. Okay, and you know, this girl, she just does not laugh at my jokes, you know? Chemistry's okay, but, I mean, those are legit questions, okay? As long as first you ask the question, does this person have virtue? Check. Second, okay, can you actually see yourself marrying a person who is blonde rather than brunette? So those are secondary questions, okay? Okay, next stage. So once you've judged that the person has enough virtues, and now you can take it to the next level, which is the actual courtship itself. Brothers, it's time to pop that question, okay? It's time to be a real man and pop that question, okay? Not to the ladies, but to their dad, okay? To their father figure. It's true, yeah. And remember, primary function of a dad is to protect the excellence of their daughters, okay? So if they deem that you don't have any virtues, they can say yes or no to you. That's their right, that's their authority, okay? So think about that, okay? So that means that during the friendship stage, you should have had some type of interaction with the girl's family, their parents, especially the father figure, okay, with the shotgun, you know. Okay, just like with me and my little sister, because my little sister, she's not, you know, she's probably around, she's somewhere out there. She was single once, and our dad is not here, so I'm kind of acting as her father figure, kind of. And so when brothers, you know, were kind of having their eye at my little sister, they'd come to me and they'd ask me, George, can I court your sister? And I'm like, well, I'm gonna take advantage of this. You wanna court my sister? you know, I'm kind of feeling hungry right now. While you're at it, my shoulders kind of feel tense. Okay, it's kind of awkward. Okay, so once the father figure says yes to you, now it's time to pop that question to the lady. We are well meant to do it, okay? And once she says yes to you, it's this stage, courtship. So what's the difference? Courtship versus friendship. Courtship stage, now you are more exclusive, okay? You have more exclusive. You take away the considerations of other people aside, okay? And you have to make that clear with the other person so that there is no confusion. Are you guys just friends? Or are you guys actually courting now? Are you guys actually boyfriend, girlfriend now, okay? And in this stage, you spend more time with each other to have a better sense of their virtue. You can finally go on a dinner date in this stage, okay? But with a chaperone. Yes, bring your mom with you, bring your dad with you with a hand grenade, bring your third wheel with you, you know, bring the people with you. You think I'm kidding, but I'm not, I'm being serious. Paraguay actually has one of the most stringent rules when it comes to courtship, okay? A guy and a girl goes on a date, there's always a chaperone. And just look at the nation, they have one of the lowest divorce rates in the world, okay? Plain and simple, you guys, we have to be countercultural. I'm not forcing, just know that I'm not forcing these information on you guys, but I'm telling you guys how it should be, but I'm not forcing it on you guys, okay? Okay, so once you go on a dinner date and bring your mom or your dad, a friend, a third wheel with you, let's say nobody wants to come with you and just feel awkward, then at least you gotta do it in a public setting, okay? And the public will act as your chaperone, okay? And you ask me, George, can we finally act with affection in this stage? Can we finally hold hands? No, okay? No, because the thing is, in the nature of human affection is, once you start doing that, it triggers this chemical balance within our bodies that causes us to have an attachment, a bond with the other person, a bond that is meant for marriage, a bond that is meant for the permanent and not for the temporary, okay? And so it is directly contrary to justice to act with affection in this stage. Why? Because you can just leave. You're not obliged to stay with each other because you're not married. You can just leave. And once you create that bond through affections, that attachment, and then you leave, that's how you cause pains, sufferings, which is especially true for the ladies because the girls get more into that bonding, that attachment process. Mainly they're designed this way as future mothers to raise kids. And so it is a sin against justice to act with affection in this stage, okay, brothers and sisters? Okay, so just kind of reflect on that real quick. Okay, if that's why I tell people, or if you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, if you cannot keep your hands to yourself, leave, man. You owe it not to be an occasion of sin to the other person. If you don't care for your own soul, at least care for the other person's soul. And once you realize that you can't see yourself marrying this person, same thing, gotta leave. Don't be an occasion of sin for that other person. Primary function of this stage is to show self-denial. If you can deny yourself while you're with the other person, if you can deny yourself your wants, your desires, so that the other person can attain what is good for them. Primary thing that the guy is looking for in a stage in the woman is submission, is the ability of the woman to submit to the man, okay? Not in terms of martial arts submission, okay? No, rather, it's about if the girl can allow the guy to take the lead. In the book of Ephesians, St. Paul tells us, wives are to be subordinate to their husbands as to the church. For the husband is the head of his wife, as Christ is head of the church. Did you hear that, Marino? I wear the pants in the family. Okay.
Could you elaborate more on that? Because I feel like the word like wives be submissive to your husband. It's like almost derogatory from at face value. So could you like dig deeper and explain that?
Sure. How about let's do that later.
Okay.
Yeah, just so I don't lose my.
Sorry.
No problem. Well, remind me to answer that question later. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, again, what did I say? Okay. So that if it's the ability, if the girl has the capability or is willing to allow herself to let the guy take the lead. For example, let's say me and Marino, it's grocery shopping time. Okay. It's time to eat some dinner. Okay, what do you want for dinner? Well, I want steak. I said, man, I want steak. Marino says, I want shrimp tempura. Well, I want steak. I want shrimp tempura. Well, you know what? Ephesians 5. Husband is there. And then Marino gives me that look. And then she tells me, well, I'm pregnant. And I say, you know what? Shrimp tempura sounds really good. Let's do that for tonight. See how see what I did there? I took the lead and I made the final decision. Okay, so that's kind of like a mini explanation to that. But anyways, but it does not end there. Okay, Ephesians does not end there. So it continues. Husbands, love your wives. That's it. Next topic. I'm just kidding. So husband love your wives as Christ loved the church. Okay. Main thing that the girl is looking for in this stage is L-O-V-E, love. What is love? Okay, it's love. And what is the ultimate example of love? Okay, it's Jesus Christ. Is there a crucifix? It's the crucifix. Jesus on the cross, right? What is love? Love is self-sacrifice. It's the guy willing to sacrifice himself of his wants, his desires, so the other person, the lady, can attain what is good for her. If the husband is willing to work hard, you know, to be a pastor, a provider, a protector for the lady, okay? So brothers, we are called to lay down our lives for our future wives. Amen? Repeat after me, brothers. Lay down our lives.
Lay down our lives
for future wives.
For future wives.
Okay, not the opposite, okay? Not lay down our future wives for our lives, brothers. No, okay. Okay, man. So once you found that the other person has sufficient virtue, another common question in this stage is, okay, George, this person they're filled with virtues, except in one aspect. Except in one aspect of her life. Okay, wait, I mean, yeah, this girl, she's virtuous. This guy, he's virtuous, but man, he just does not brush his teeth. And he got dragon breath, man. Okay, and man. So as long as it's not grave, what is an example of grave? Any sins against the 6th and the 9th commandments, any sins against purity is considered grave. So whether it be sex before marriage, cohabitation, girlfriend, boyfriend living with each other, pornography, masturbation. What are some red flags? Verbally abusive, maybe they're saying the F word every single day. What's in the person's heart comes out of the mouth, okay? Cheating, stealing, hitting, these are all red flags. If you have a boyfriend or girlfriend right now, don't ever settle for someone just because it's worked out so far, okay? You have to be able to say this about the other person. I want my future kids to marry this type of person. That's the person you want to marry, okay? All right, so after this stage, once you found that the other person has sufficient virtue, it's on to the 3rd stage, which is betrothal, aka engagement. So in this stage, again, the guy goes to the parents, like I did with Marino. That was a nice experience. And once they say yes to you, then you can ask the lady. Once she says yes to you, that's good and dandy. If you ask me, George, can we finally act with affection in this stage? Oh, maybe holding hands, okay. I'll let that go, you know. But you gotta keep it remote, okay? Why? Well, just because you're engaged doesn't guarantee that you will be married. A lot of people engaged get separated, okay? So don't put yourself in that danger, okay, brothers and sisters? All right. And then after this is, of course, marriage. Man, marriage is beautiful. I just want to tell you guys. I don't want to, if you want to be a priest or a nun one day, don't let me stop you, bro. pursuing that. But I do want to say that marriage is awesome. I saw a patient yesterday, especially if marriage is awesome, especially if the person you married has virtues, either is filled with virtues. So I saw a patient yesterday, elderly lady, she's about maybe in her early 70s, married, very devout Catholic. And one of the common questions I'll ask them, my patients, is, are you feeling down? Are you feeling depressed, sad, anything of that nature? So I asked this question to the lady, and she told me, me depressed? How can I be? How can I be feeling depressed when I'm married? I'm like, oh, that's so cute. Okay. So marriage is awesome. We won't talk about marriage tonight because that is a whole other topic. Okay. So if you have not yet had the birds and the bees conversation with your parents, I'm going to give it to you, okay? Okay, so the marital act, the holy sexual union. What did God invent sex for? Father Mike Schmitz, you might have heard of him. He's very photogenic, very handsome. Okay, calm down, George. Okay. Yes, nice hair. Okay. He says that sex has two aspects. Okay, it has its unitive aspect and its procreative aspect, and you have to use the two in order to fulfill the nature of sex. So unitive aspect is where husband and wife are united; they're bonded, right? And the procreative aspect of sex is, of course, creating little George Juniors running around, little Marinol cutie pies running around. You know? So, brothers, if a girl asks you, what are your long-term intentions with me? What do you tell them? You tell them, it's to marry you and to create babies. Okay, now 1 or 2, but 12 babies. 12 apostle style. Okay. Yes. Okay, so now what happens when you start abusing the sexual union? When you separate its two aspects apart and you start abuse it according to our own wants. When you take away the unitive aspect of sex, what is that called? It's called rape. You take away the procreative aspect of sex, what is that called? That's called contraception. It closes the doors to the gift of life. Okay, St. Thomas Aquinas says that when we sin, we're actually looking for something good, but we miss the mark. Pornography, masturbation, that's missing the mark. Why? Because it fosters lust within us and causes us to commit adultery in our hearts. Contraception, birth control pills, condoms, that's missing the mark. Why? Because it closes the doors to the gift of life, and now the holy sexual union is reduced to what? Satisfy lust. Again, remember, Our Lady of Fatima, Mother Mary, told the 3 shepherd children, what is the number one reason that soul goes to hell? Sins of the flesh. Such as what? Sex before marriage, pornography, masturbation, contraception. What else? When you, around campus, college campus, when you see people sleeping around with different people, it leads to a 3-letter word. What is it called? It's called AIDS. I'm sorry, that's 4 letters. I mean, that's the sexually transmitted disease. And at school, human sexuality class, if you've taken it, which I actually took, at school, what did they teach us? If you want to have sex without getting STD, HIV, or AIDS, if you want to have safe sex, just use a latex, use a condom. It's totally safe. Guess what? National Institute of Health did a study and they found that condoms do protect from STD transmission 85% of the time. Okay, that's not bad. It's like a B, right? Are you guys familiar with STD, HIV, and AIDS are? These are not your type of common cold type of diseases. HPV, human papillomavirus, #1 cause of cervical cancer. These are legit diseases that will have an effect on your life. 85%, that means you have 15% left. Now, let me give you guys an analogy, man. STDs, HIV, AIDS, they're like angry, provoked, great white sharks, okay? And I say, being college students, you guys are adventurers. And one day you wanted to swim in South Africa in the ocean with the great white sharks, provoked, while you're inside of a cage. And the owner of that company tells you, don't worry about it. Our cages are made of steel. They will protect you 85% of the time. But the rest of the 15%, they do actually break. Sharks get in. At that point, you can be intimate with them, pet them with your feet, because at that point, you ain't got no arms no more, Have fun. It's totally safe. So if you guys really want to have sex without getting STDs, herpes, HIV, AIDS, if you really want to have safe sex without having to wake up one morning saying good morning to Mr. Krabs, if you really want to do that, then you gotta wear protective equipment. Real protective equipment, okay? Like what doctors would wear when they're in contact with a deadly disease. Like what? Gloves, a gown, a mask. Now you're protected. I can't have sex with that. Exactly. Exactly. Okay. What else? How about birth control pills? Ladies, have you guys ever read the side effects on birth control pills? Let me tell you, as a healthcare practitioner, birth control pills is categorized as a primary carcinogenic agent. That means it's cancer causing. It increases your chance of getting breast cancer. The very thing we're trying to prevent when you get mammograms, starting at age 40, okay? It increases your chance of getting cervical cancer. The very thing we're trying to prevent through pap smears, okay? It increases your chance of getting fat, getting a mustache, getting depressed. Also increases your chance of getting a blood clot. Blood clot goes into your heart, you get a heart attack. Goes into your brain, you get a stroke. These are synthetic hormones that ladies ingest. Don't get me wrong, okay? They do have their medical purposes. We'll get to that later. So they do have their medical purposes, okay, such as bleeding, okay? But for fertility, not so, okay? Now, what else? They did a study of people cohabitating. What does that mean? Girl and guy, boyfriend, girlfriend living with each other. And they found that when they got married, the couples that were cohabitating got married, 80% of them got a divorce. 80%. That is huge, okay? Don't fall for the cheap imitation of the sexual union that this culture is offering us, okay? There's too much at stake. And I know brothers, sometimes the ladies are just too irresistible, right? After all, they're the most beautiful creatures God has ever created here on earth. I mean, when guys go on the internet, computer, they don't look at dogs or crickets or cats. No. Unless you're like me, I like to look at videos sometimes. Okay. They look at women. Why? Because they're beautiful. When you look at a woman's body, you see beauty. You see a mystery. It can be compared to heaven. And just like heaven, ladies, your bodies are worth waiting for, worth being patient for, worth sacrificing for, okay? Only lift up the veils to your future husband. Only lift up the veils to your body, to your future spouse, who's worthy to see the glory of the unveiled mystery. Amen? Amen. Amen. Okay, brothers, we're given muscles for what? Play video games all day, or I don't know. It's to protect the ladies, okay? By the way, just want to tell you guys fall through the eyes and ladies fall through the ears. Ladies, there's a lot of smooth talking brothers out there, okay? Don't fall for the smooth talking brothers, okay? If you don't already know, boys are selfish and they will say whatever they want to get to do what they want, okay? For example, you know, what's up, girl? Want to pray the rosary at my house? Wink, wink. You know? Okay? All right. And the brothers, I'm sorry, the ladies, the guys fall through the eyes. You have to be considerate of this, ladies. When you're dressing up, you're putting some clothes on. Are you dressing up to conceal or to reveal? Okay? Clothes are meant to cover up, not to show up. Okay, ladies? Be considerate of that. Brothers, don't let ladies, beautiful ladies, cute ladies, sexy ladies be an occasion of sin for you guys, okay? I mean, each time a cute girl or pretty girl passes me by, I don't think to myself, oh no, another temptation, Marino's gonna kill me, gotta close my eyes. No, rather I think to myself, Psalm 84. And I say to myself, how lovely is your dwelling place, O Lord mighty God. Okay? Remember that. Repeat after me. How lovely is your dwelling place, O Lord mighty God.
O Lord my God.
Okay. So let's do a sample real quick. Let's put that into action, okay? For the brothers out here, okay? I'm gonna pretend I'm a sexy lady. I'm gonna wink at you. Okay? And then once I wink at you, you say, how lovely, la la la. Okay? Let's see if you guys memorize it, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Wink. Hey, okay. Is your dwelling place, oh Lord, mighty God. Okay. I mean, when you walk around campus, do you have 1,000 temptations of going to hell, or do you have 1,000 reminders of the beauty of heaven? Yeah, so isn't that beautiful? Battle lust by praising the Lord instead. So remember that. I really love that one. How lovely is your dwelling place, O Lord, mighty God. Okay? So in the end, brothers and sisters, it's not about us finding the person who has everything that we want. Rather, it's about us becoming the person our future spouse deserves. Amen? Amen. Okay. And I know this whole battle of trying to court faithfully, especially in the culture we're in right now, it's not going to be easy. It's tough. For sure it's going to be tough. Let me give you guys some quick tips. Okay. Number 1, take advantage of the sacraments, especially Holy Communion and confession. Anyone here been to confession this month? Amen, sister. I know October only started this Monday. Oh, you didn't make it. You gotta go again tonight. Yeah, so go to confession. Try to go as frequent as you can. Monthly, even weekly, every day if you want, like Mother Teresa. Okay, go as frequent as you can and receive Holy Communion. Love Himself, Jesus Christ within our hearts. Number 2, hang out with good friends. Friends who will lead you up there and not down there. You got a friend right now who's leading you down there. Why are you with them? Why are you with them? Your goal is to get to heaven, okay? Human Club. This is a good group of people right here. You got to have each other's backs, okay? Make friends with each other. We're all trying to build virtues. Have each other's backs, okay? Number 3, don't ask the question, how far can I go with the other person that I'm with right now, okay? Rather, ask this question instead, okay? How far are you willing to go, your future spouse, to go with another person right now, okay? Are you willing to let your future husband or your wife hold hands with somebody else, kiss somebody else? I hope not. Heck no. Marino told me one time, we were already married, and she told me, you know, George, back in 3rd grade or 2nd grade, this one guy gave me a kiss accidentally. I'm like, what? I'm gonna kill that guy. Okay? On the cheek, okay? On the cheek. All right. Yeah, okay. Number 4. Am I on 4 or 3?
Yes, yeah.
4, okay. Number 4. Don't put yourself in stupid situations, okay? When you're hanging out, opposite sex, just the 2 of you, never, don't do that, okay? There always has to be someone there. Even if you're in your house's living room, there has to be someone there. Don't ever close the doors in a room and you're just the 2 of you there. Don't ever do that. Once you do that, the whole battle of chastity can be decided right then and there, okay? So don't put yourself in stupid situations. Just try to avoid, this might be bad for some of you guys, but try to avoid carpooling where it's just the 2 of you, guy and girl. Especially you're going on long trips. You're going to San Francisco, to Vegas, just the 2 of you. Try to avoid those. Those can be near occasion of sin, okay? For the boys, they fall through the eyes. Don't gaze at each other, okay? Not the guys gazing at each other. But the girl and the guy. Don't gaze at each other, okay? Me, when, I'm feeling stressed from work, and I'm just, I'm drained. I just look at Marino's eyes for like 3 seconds. I'm like, I love you, So don't gaze at each other, okay? For the ladies falling through the ears, try to avoid those long conversations, hours of conversations at night. Try to avoid those, especially at night. That's the time when we're weak, okay? Okay, and lastly, you gotta cut off pornography, okay? Pornography can be an addiction. And those images that goes to our eyes because of pornography, they can haunt you for the rest of your lives, okay? And lastly, we have to take away the idea that other people, whether it be a guy or a girl, are objects of lust. Okay, when I look at Marino, I don't see somebody sees when they watch pornography. I don't see someone who's to be abused for my own desires. Rather, I see the cutest, the funniest, most beautiful creature in the world. I see my bride. Okay. Yeah. And let me just end with this. I know we're all just trying to be happy, right? We're trying to be happy, attain joy. St. Thomas Aquinas says that nobody can live without joy. And so someone deprived of spiritual joy will look for it in the carnal pleasures. Okay, so gotta aim for Christ and run after Christ. Okay, and let me give you this last quote by JP2. He says, when you are dreaming of happiness, it is Jesus Christ whom you are seeking. He is there waiting for you when nothing else you find satisfies. And he is the beauty to which you are so attracted to. Okay? So starting from tonight, let's make a firm decision to court faithfully and lead the person we love into heaven. Amen?
Amen.
Repeat after me. I. State your name.
Okay.
Forgot your name? Good. Make a firm decision to court faithfully and lead the person I love to heaven. Glory be to the Father, to the Son, to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning,
is now, and ever shall be, world without end.